In this video, we're going to take a look at 5 decks that you can play for the Monster Type Festival King of the Island. Now, before I go into it, there's just 2 things I want to address. One, if you've gone in and you've tried to theory craft a deck, you know how hard it is to build a deck for this event because you're limited to these types. First of all, Beast Warrior, Beast, Wing Beast, Insect, and Reptile. And a lot of the decks that you would think would have been good, like Floowandereeze, Tri-Brigade, Zodiac, etc., they're all severely nerfed. They've had their cards banned or limited, so those archetypes are basically unplayable. So it was very, very hard for me to theory craft 5 playable decks. And for that, I would appreciate a like if this video does help you out. Secondly, if you've watched my channel before, or you've seen my videos, or you've seen my progress through these events, you know that we focus on win rates. We focus on decks that will be very effective, and we focus on budget. And so not only are you getting, a deck that's going to be good and help you grind through the event quickly, but you're also getting a budget option that'll help you save on resources. So again, another reason I think for you to like the video. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at some decks. So the first deck that you can play that is relatively full power, and what I'll do for you guys is I'm just going to search the archetype. And so we are under the event Monster Type Festival, King of the Island. And then if you want to see how your engine is impacted for this deck, you just select the Forbidden, and you can see what in the archetype has been limited and or banned. So Ancient Warriors only has the Masterful Sun Mu limited. Everything else is available, and then you can tech it out with some power cards if you want. But relatively cheap deck to make. You have a 3 ultra rare investment here and maybe a 1 ultra rare investment in the Double Dragon Lords. So 4 ultra rares. Again, I know most people are going to be like, that's still too much, I'm not doing it. Plus you have some super rares and you may not want to open the pack. So that's totally fine. This will be a top tier deck. Ancient Warriors is a going second deck. It will be a very fast deck to complete the event with because you will be OTKing people left, right, and center. And again, you just go second and you just blow up the board basically. Not literally blow it up with a Regeki, but you flood the board and you just power through everything with your high attack monsters. This deck is actually half decent in regular ranked mode as well, so the fact that it only has 1 limitation on it is quite interesting. The deck list though is going to be 3 Max C, 1 Masterful Sun Mo, and again all these are Ancient Warriors, 3 Graceful Zugong, okay, 2 Virtuous Luzon. Normally you wouldn't play this, but because this is limited you can opt for 2 of these, and that way your Ancient Warriors, Double Dragon Lords is live as well. 1 Ingenious, I'm not going to try to pronounce these names out of respect for the culture. 1 Savage Dawn Ying, that's a pretty dope name though, Savage Dawn. 1 Loyal Yun. I opted to play 2 of this, yeah, Valiant, Zhang Di, and then 3 Rebellious Lu Feng. So this is the main boss monster that you want to play. You kind of care about back row. Lightning Storm is versatile because again, going second, you can clear out monsters or back row. So maybe 2 Lightning Storms would be good, and a Feather Duster. Again, these are the staple cards, so I'm not including them in the cost of the deck. You got 2 Talents as well, 2 Tensu Fire Formation, and 3 Fire Formation Tenki, 3 Ancient Warrior Saga, 3 Visits, 3 Ancient Warriors Saga, Deception and Betrayal, and 3 Infinite Impermanence. The extra deck, you got some Zodiac cards in here. The full Zodiac package, so that's Tiger Mortar, Dryden. Again, you don't need to play these ultra rares, but you can. Zodiac Barbo, you probably have this already though, especially if you play tier elements when Zodiac was the thing in the deck. 1 Hammer Kong and 2 Chakanine. Playing 1 Malevolent Sin just because it's a normal Xyz, a normal rarity, level 4 Xyz, so you can make it with the level 4s if you want. 2 Daruma because you can pop your continuous spells if you wanted to, especially after you've searched from them, and just pop opponent's back row, which is kind of useful. 1 Ancient Warriors, this is a broken card for sure. 1 Donner, 1 Scareclaw Tryhard. I threw this into any deck that could make it basically, just because it switches all your opponent's monsters to defense, and then it's hard to out this card via your opponent. You can play a Tri-Brigade Shurag as well, and this has no meaning. You might want to put this in there if you want to play something like Dogmatica Punishment as well. But if you do, you'd also probably want to play Garua, which is legal for this event. But Super Poly is not. But if you were playing Dogmatica Punishment, you can send this and then send the Garua off of it as well. So up to you. But that is Ancient Warriors. The next deck that we're going to take a look at is Simorgh. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But this deck is relatively unhit as well. If we take a look again at the archetype, The only thing that hurts this deck is the fact that Apex Avian is banned, which isn't showing up in the archetype specific cards, but it just means that off of the Bird of Sovereignty, you can't bring out an Omni Negate, which is actually good. I don't want to be dealing with Omni Negates in this format. It would be very frustrating, especially since, like I said, most of the other power cards have been banned as well. But this engine, as you can see, is pretty much unhit. You will want 2 Bird of Sovereignty though, if not 3. And this is an ultra rare, but I think that's the really only archetype specific ultra rare that you, oh no, sorry, you also need the Onslaught. So 5 ultra rares at minimum probably to play this deck effectively. And going over the deck list here, you got 1 DD Crow as it's limited to 1, 3 Bird of Beginning, 3 Max C, 3 Bird of Bringing, 3 Bird of Calamity, 3 Bird of Protection, 3 Bird of Perfection, 1 Dark Simorgh, 1 Lord of the Storm. Okay, and these are all Simorgh cards, obviously. 2 Simorgh of Darkness, and the reason you're playing so many high tribute or like high level monsters in the deck is because they're all free to summon off of Bird of Sovereignty. So your goal is you bring out the Bird of Sovereignty, and this card special summons out these big bodies for free from the deck or hand, as long as the spell and trap zones are not used up. And so if you go first especially, you get a free Dark Simorgh, which means the opponent can't set cards pretty much, and then you're going to, during their end phase, going to be able to bring out another big body, which is really broken. Playing some generic board breakers, a Foolish Burial to dump some of your Simorgh cards if you need to. 3 of the Simorgh Onslaught, because discard 1 Winged Beast, add 2 Simorgh monsters with different attributes, so pretty good. Then you can banish the card from your graveyard, reveal 1 Winged Beast in your hand, and if you do, reduce the level of all monsters in your hand with that name by 1. So this card can help, banish it from graveyard. Now your 2 tribute monsters now cost 1 if you do happen to brick on them and don't have a Bird of Sovereignty. So this deck does have some versatility. It can do some work because all of these big tribute monsters have decently powerful effects. They're all wind attribute, even though this one's dark, it says while it's face up in the field it's wind. And when stuff is activated, this one is when spell and traps are activated, you contribute a wind monster and then just shuffle a card back into the opponent's deck. There's another one that allows you to negate. Yeah, see, this one is the negate spell or trap by attributing a winged beast monster. So there is negates, just not the Omni Negate in Apex Avian. And then you want to play 1 Repulsion, 2 Triple Tactics Talents, 2 of the Field Spell, Elbor, Sacred Lands, 2 Called By, 1 Harpy's Featherstorm. This is one of the decks that can play this card. It's limited to 1 extremely broken card. It's turn skip if you do have it with any winged beast monster you have, and then 3 Imperm as well. This card, if you draw it, you're pretty much winning the game, pretty much. It's like an auto win card, so keep that in mind. The extra deck doesn't really matter too much. You might want this card, Desperate, Doom Eagle, and Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. The rest doesn't really matter. You could play, again, a small Tri-Brigade package in Shurag, and the Scareclaw Triheart, and the Farragut, just again to summon and special summon from hand, and then when it goes to graveyard, draw and put back. Daruma Adal, same as the Ancient Warriors. Pop card that you control, pop card the opponent controls. And then if you did want to play Dogmatic Punishment, you can play this package if you have these cards as well. So just some versatility there. But that is the Simorgh deck. The next deck we're going to take a look at is our first budget deck, and it is an Insect OTK. It's a deck that can do really well and just steamroll through your opponent, but it's also a deck that can just brick and you can't do anything. So it's like win fast, lose fast kind of thing. However, it probably will end up winning more than losing. The deck, though, like I said, is extremely budget friendly. There are literally no ultra rares except for the Bear Graham, but you don't necessarily have to play this because the core of this deck is basically Mother Spider and Baby Spider. But this is just the 3 of. You do have some other cards to help facilitate your engine, but overall it's a pretty simple deck. Let's go into it now, though. You got 1 Kuwagata, 3 Maxi, this is again a staple, so you don't count this as ultra rare, 3 Parasite Paranoid, 3 Goki Pole, 2 Scout Buggy Bee Trooper, 2 Bee Trooper Scale Bomber, 3 Infinite Ant Lion, 3 Baby Spider, 1 Guard Mantis, 2 Worm Warrior, 3 Resonance Insect, 2 Bee Trooper Assault Roller, 3 Dragon Bite, 3 Mother Spider Splitter, 1 Scary Moth, 1 Doom Dozer. These are kind of like your boss monsters now. 1 Heavy Bee Trooper Mighty Neptune, 1 Bear Graham. And then just because it's all gas, like this deck is literally all monsters, you can play 2 Seconds Light as well, just for some additional draw power. And then your extra deck, it matters a little bit, but the cards you really care about are the 2 commons in the number 35 and the number 84. The Cicada King here is also from the legacy pack, so hopefully you have this. If you've played this game and you've opened like a ton of legacy packs, you wouldn't have to craft this. So literally this extra deck is really simple. You probably will never go into this other stuff here, but the core of the combo is that you basically just get the mother spider, bring out the baby spiders, whether they're in your hand or in your deck. They become level 5, you tribute 1, they both become level 10. You go into the Ravenous Tarantula. Now you don't have number 77 because it's banned for this event, but you can still facilitate a very big board and OTK. I'll put up a screenshot of what somebody posted in the Discord around what their board was able to look like with this deck. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but I'll probably put it in the comment section below if I find the screenshot in the Discord. So again, this is a very budget friendly deck. Yeah, it's pretty, like you can see, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's just normal and rares, pretty self-sufficient, very easy way to just get in there and just grind out the event. Again, you will lose probably a decent amount with this deck, but it will be very fast. It's not like you're going to sit there and have to worry about playing through a match and then still losing. It's going to be either instant, more or less, win or lose, right? Instant win or lose. So that is our first budget-friendly deck, Insect OTK. The next deck that I'm going to want to review for you here is Krawler. Now this is an archetype specific deck, so let's go ahead and take a look at what in the engine has been limited and or banned. And you can see here nothing in the engine is affected. So Krawler in its pure archetype form is unhit. However, I don't know how good this deck would be, given that this format is likely to be very slow. I imagine that this deck could be pretty good, but again, it's not the cheapest because you do have to invest into 3 ultra rare Somos more or less, and the extra deck also has 2, if not 3, of the X-Krawler Link monster that's also ultra rare. So it's a pretty hefty ultra rare investment in my opinion for a deck that, again, probably won't see a lot of play. No one's going to make this deck for this event most likely, but let's go ahead and take a look at it very quickly. You got 3 Maxi, 3 Krawler Spline, 3 Krawler Axon, 3 Krawler Galel. I don't know how to say it. we'll just go with that. 3 Receptor, 3 Soma, and 1 X-Krawler. Then you got some generic board breaks, Raigeki Duster, 3 World Legacy Survivor, 1 Lightning Storm, or you can play 2. 2 World Legacy and Shadow Field Spell, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and we just decided to max out on some traps. So 3 World Legacy Mind Meld, 3 Solemn Strike. So again, another ultra rare, but this is a staple. Again, you don't have to play it, but it's probably pretty good to play it since your deck is a slower deck and you're going to be like stalling out your opponent. Having cards like powerful trap cards like this could be very effective. 2 World Legacy Pawns and 2 of these and 2 Crusadia Krawler. The extra deck, 1 Mrs. Radiant, 3 X-Krawler, I don't even know how to say that, Synapsis I guess is what I'm going to go with, 2 Nerogus, hopefully I'm not butchering these names, Krawlark, 2 Krawlark, let's say, and then the rest doesn't really matter. 3 Shinobi Insect, you never summon it, 1 B-Trooper Armor Horn, 1 Donner, 1 Tryhard, and 1 B-Trooper, Giant B-Trooper Invincible. This card is actually pretty good for this event if you can make it with any insect deck because it can help facilitate OTKs and it's basically a towers. That being said though, the one thing I will say before we move on is note that there are 2 Kaijus legal for this event, the Sticky and the Godarla Mystery Dust Kaiju. So these 2 Kaijus are legal, as well as Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. That's interesting. So, if you were playing Kaijus, you could also play like another form of Raigeki, but at this point we'll actually just play Raigeki, right? Anyways, that's going to do it for the Krawler video. Let's go on to our final deck of the format. Alright, so I saved the best for last, or at least in my opinion it's the best, because hey, I actually have this deck and I know how it works. Lyrilusc OTK, so just like the Insect OTK, this is a budget-friendly deck. As you can see here, all the main deck monsters are pretty much just normals and rares. Yes, you do have a small investment in super rares with the Wagtail, and again a DD Crow, but you should have DD Crow as a staple. You got Max C's, Staple, Feather Duster, and Staple Lightning Storms, and then 1 limited to 1 Bird Calls. So basically a 3 super rare investment for the actual engine-esque cards. We'll get into the extra deck in a second, but the deck list is fairly straightforward. 1 DD Crow, 2 of the Cobalt Sparrow, 3 Sapphire Swallow, 3 Turquoise Warbler, 3 Slower Swallow, 2 of these, not an engine card, but just a level 1 bird that is a special summon potentially, or a normal summon to help facilitate your engine, 3 Barrel Canary, and 2, you could play 3 Wagtail, 3 Maxi, 1 Duster, 3 Where Art Thou. Again, this is one of your extenders for the deck, so helping to increase consistency, playing through Not that negates are really going to be a thing. So as long as you see bodies, you're going to be able to set up most likely. You just have to worry about clearing out back row, and that's why you want to play Lightning Storm and the Duster. Might even want to go with 3 of these. 3 Jack in the hand, again, to increase consistency, because all you really need to see is a couple of birds and you are rolling. So 3 Jack in the hand for that. You could opt to cut this if you really wanted to down to 2, but I think 3 is fine just because Bird Call is limited to 1. So you want to supplement the inconsistency or the loss of consistency with Bird Call with the Jack in the hand. 3 Acts of Despair, 2 Mask of Brutality. You could up this to 3 if you want as well. 3 Mage Power, 1 Bird Sanctuary, which is searchable off of the Wagtail as well, and then a Swallow's Nest. This will help you dodge imperms and stuff like that, and Forbidden Droplet if people are playing it, because I believe that it is legal for the events. Forbidden Droplet, yes it is. Oh, and I'm not playing the Featherstorm. That's probably a misplay on my part. Incorrect deck building, but you probably want to fit this in somewhere as well, just in case your opponent forces you to go first, or even if you draw it going second, it's not necessarily bad because this literally is a turn skip for your opponent. So even if you brick on this, as long as you have a winged beast, which all of these are, the Feather Duster is a turn skip. So maybe you don't need to play it, but it doesn't hurt, I think, to throw it in there. So the premise of this deck is basically you try to get into the Assembled Nightingale. So this is your other super rare that you want to make. You probably want at least 2. So you're up to 5 super rare investments, 0 ultra rares though, right? Which is the main thing. Unless, I don't know, you think you need Lightning Storms, you might have to, like, I'll probably craft a Lightning Storm, right? Why not? I got 1,000 ultra rare crafting points. But you go into this with hopefully 3 or 4 materials, and you have 1 or 2 powerful equip spells, and then it just attacks directly for game like 3 or 4 times, and your opponent can't stop you. This also has the effect of quick effect, detach 1 material until the end phase of this turn. Monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So if your opponent has something to destroy your card, like a trap to target it, you just quick effect, detach your attacks are going through anyways, right? They like to stop this, they really need to like imperm it, but they're probably imperming you early. And like I said, hopefully you have a Swallow's Nest. You can up this to 3 if you want to hopefully dodge an imperm or a Forbidden Droplet, or even if they do have that, you can clear it out with a Lightning Storm anyways, right? So very powerful OTK deck. Again, it's either going to lose very quickly or win very quickly, but I think this has better consistency than the Insect deck, but I can't say for sure because I haven't really tested that Insect deck. But this is basically all you really need. You could play the Recital Starling because this helps you get more, gets you into your Assembled Nightingale with more materials more consistently, because this card can search out like an Extender, or like a Wagtail, which can get you into the Bird Sanctuary, which can help you combine 2 Xyz monsters to get like a lot of materials under 1. If you are going first, right, you have the Ensemble Blue that you can go into, which bounces special summoned monsters. If you're dealing with, there are no floodgates in this event, I don't think, but if you're dealing with some problematic back row, you can go into Darumidal or Promenade, so you have answers for that. If you do get into a bit of a grind game, you have some extenders with like the Desperate Doom Eagle, with the Smorgh, with the Donner Dagger for Hire to out cards, and the Tri-Brigade, since you can spam the board very easily. You can get this out on field and then continue to special summon winged beasts and continue to banish cards on field. So there is a little bit of like, if you can't OTK, you might be able to survive in a grind game. Probably not, and for that reason I wouldn't invest in these if you don't have them already. The main thing is just, hey, I've seen this posted on Master Duel Meta. People had this deck and they literally just had 2 cards in their extra deck. It was 2 Assembled Nightingale. Like, that's how good the deck can be, right? Very easy to grind through the event, and a very budget-friendly deck at that. So, yeah, this is obviously, like, I have this made, so this is probably what I'm going to use. So if you're interested in seeing how this deck plays, maybe stay tuned and you'll see it. And even for my alt account, I'll probably build this because it's so cheap. But that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you got some good ideas from I guess this video, and like I said at the beginning, a like would be greatly appreciated. Thank you again if you've made it this far. Unlike previous events where it was very frustrating sometimes to play that event, especially with the loners, because there was a clear-cut top tier deck. Like the last one, it was Drytron for the light side. The event before that, it was Labyrinth, clearly just like dominating everything for the Fiend versus Fairy event, obviously. In this event though, these loners will actually be somewhat playable. You'll still suffer from consistency and brickiness as usual, but at least you won't just get completely blown out all the time by people who have actual decks, because like I mentioned, the powerful archetypes for this format, things like Floowandereeze and Zodiac and Tri-Brigade, etc., all have their engines severely limited or banned. So these decks will actually be able to play, and it looks like the reptile deck here will probably be your best option. So don't lose hope and think like, oh my goodness, this event is going to be trashed like some of the other ones that were frustrating. I think Konami actually did a decent job in trying to balance the power level, and that's absolutely what they had to do. So if they took the feedback, Konami, props to you. Hopefully this event goes well, because it looks like it's going to be fairly balanced, except for the fact that you left Maxi in, and you banned Ash, right? That you should have banned Maxi. But anyways, that's a topic of discussion for another video.